For a large group to form a post-Dunbar community, will there need to be a selection process as to who gets to be a part of the group?
There's effectively two different projects, one of which is the long-term stable balancing between consciousness, sustainability, and evolution. And how do we get to that? Then there is essentially this interim step that I'm taking to develop some bootstrapping around the skill of how to live together. Right. So, for instance, if I take 500 people and I just coalesce them without having had some background of people just even coming into the skillfulness of how to communicate, then it's going to be a pretty hard row for that 500 people. There's going to be a lot that they're going to need to learn about how to live together. So there's some basic training that wants to happen. And so in effect, I'm thinking of it as a kind of rolling campus for that smaller project, the smaller project that would involve, say, 30 to 60 people, which is below the Dunbar level. But that's not a community in the sense of people living resident for long term. It's like they're going and they're spending a semester to learn a set of skills, and then in effect they're going back to some other guild to learn some other set of skills. But ultimately, they end up being part of the pool of people from which the coalescence at the post-Dunbar level can actually occur. There's a lot of things that need to happen. I mean, bear in mind this isn't a simple project. There's a lot of moving pieces, and many of those pieces aren't necessarily obvious. They have somewhat subtle relationships to one another. Look at civilization as it exists today. I mean, you have hundreds of millions of organizations of every constellation and type. I mean, most of them happen to be institutional, unfortunately, but to develop the skillfulness of how to hold things in a non-institutional way, in a genuine community way, for something like at least 2/3 of the population, those things are going to be brand new skills. So I'm wanting to find a way for those skills to become embodied in some group of people before coalescence is even attempted. Another point to make, actually, while I'm thinking about it, bear in mind that communities, for the most part, don't get to choose who's in and who's out. Right? As a guild, to some extent, I have to. Right? As a person working with tools, I need to ensure that people that are working in the shop are safe. So in effect, I'm gonna watch how a person is. I'm going to be discerning about, are they good with this saw? Do they know what they're doing? And so in this sense, there is a selection process at a sub-Dunbar scale. Right? There is a need to be discerning about, are they in right devotion? But when I'm getting to looking at things like, a town or a city, for example, you're going to get every possible neurological type. You're going to get every person at every age. And I don't think about community as who's in and who's out in a sense of some sort of selection basis and the membership kind of criteria. That would be, again, an institutional form. We need to basically take care of our own, which includes, even people that are different than us.